Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rain, and for today's video I'm going to be printmaking. So I went to an art store recently and I bought a couple of supplies there, and I decided to just grab a few linoleum, and I am thinking of what size I should do this piece, and I'm thinking of doing something bigger, and I'm just sketching out the sketch or idea on Procreate, and later on I will be transferring the sketch onto the linoleum. So I decided to do something with snakes since I've been wanting to draw snakes recently, but I don't really know how to draw snake that much. And as you see here now, I'm just figuring out what size I want this linoleum to be, and I ended up cutting the linoleum by 9 by 12, and right now I'm just transferring this sketch into the linoleum. And even though the sketch is originally symmetrical in a way, I didn't want the sketch to be that symmetrical, so the snakes are kind of curved in different ways on both sides. And I'm just using a gouache paint marker to darken the sketch so that it will be easier for me to see where I need to carve it out and not. And if you guys think it's kind of hard to carve on the linoleum, what I do, or what a lot of people do, is kind of iron the lino. Not too hot though, since it might melt. I don't know if it's gonna melt, but yeah, don't overheat the lino, just enough for you to be easier for it to carve out. And a disclaimer or warning, I will be holding this carving tool in the wrong way, and don't do that. That's not the safest way to do. Please do not copy the way I hold the carving tool, because it's not really safe. So one of the things is, like, you're not supposed to point the blade in the direction of your body, because like it might slip and you might stab yourself. These tools are really sharp, and yeah, I cut myself a few times during this video or during the making of this, so I don't recommend, especially like this, the way it's pointing towards my body. Do not hold it like that. But to me, it's just like, it's easier for me to carve out the lino when I'm holding it that way. Yeah, I know it's dangerous, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And I don't really have the proper tool to carve these out. Usually there is a board thing that you put the lino on top of it, and on the top of the board there's something that holds the lino, so it would be easier for you to carve it in an upward motion rather than downward, and I don't really have that. And I'm thinking of making one, but it's not really that much of time consuming, but you have to go to the store and get wood. And yeah, so basically what I do to see how the design is looking out, just get some wax, and you can also use Crayola or crayons, and you just smudge it onto the paper, and you'll be able to see how the design is actually looking out. And note that the design will be reversed on the natural printed paper. And I'm kind of liking how this one turns out, and I feel like I should have added more details into the design, because the lino is kind of big, but the colors are really flat. There isn't really any values to the way I'm carving these. It's just flat, and I feel like that's a waste of the lino, because if you're gonna do flat, I feel like I should have done more. I should have used a softer lino, and it would have been easier to print more of flat colors, because harder lino are usually for detailed works, if you want something that's really refined lines, and this design isn't really that. I don't know if I mentioned this before on my DIY stamp video, but I took a printmaking class last semester, and unfortunately the class had to be cancelled because of the COVID-19 outbreak, and a lot of actually my tools, my papers and stuff like that, all my artworks that I've done is still in the campus, and I don't know when we'll be able to pick that up. And yeah, it's kind of sucks that the class had to be cancelled. It was a really fun class, and I was excited to make more prints in a natural printing press, and I don't really know how to properly print on hand since I can't really get a proper print. So yeah, I just finished carving this actually, and I'm just using a water-based ink to test out the print and to see how this print actually looks like. And I'm just rolling it with the brayer, and you want to make sure that the ink is kind of velvety and make that sounds. I don't know how to really explain that. As you can tell here, there is a lot of residue that is being put on the carved area, and a lot of artists doesn't really like that, so they clean it up, but this is just test print, so don't come for me. And I'm just pressing this with a tool called, I don't really know what it's called, I forgot, I think it's a Baron, and it doesn't really work that well. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but yeah. Also, on a good note, I recently just bought a printer, and I'll be selling art prints soon, and I'm so excited because this is my first time selling prints of my art and selling things more in a larger scale, and my shop will be open soon. So if you're interested in art prints, make sure to follow me on Instagram or Twitter for updates, and I'll be selling art prints for now, but in the future I'll probably be selling stickers and t-shirts as well. This was such a fun project. I haven't carved in a long time, and I'm thinking of carving on wood next time and try wood printing. I believe that will be harder to print since the wood is kind of like a really hard surface. So yeah, and I'm just trying out more prints, and this is how they turned out. And these are printed on 11 by 17 paper, cardboard paper. These aren't really printmaking paper, and yeah, because I didn't want to waste expensive paper when I don't know how the prints will turn out. So these are just test prints, and I do have a lot of these test prints laying around at home, and I don't really know what to do with them. And I'm thinking maybe I should just send them to my pen pals from a year ago that I wasn't able to reply back, and yeah, just sending them out test prints that is just laying around the home with no purpose. And right now I'm just doing another print but with red, and the thing with this is kind of hard because these aren't really printmaking ink. These are more ink for screen printing, and I guess I did a bad decision of buying screen printing ink instead, because for some reason the ink was really hard to roll on with the brayer, and I'm not sure if these inks are compatible with block printing in the first place. And I wanted to try out the screen printing ink because I wanted to print on shirts and on clothes, on fabric, because it would be cool to have your own design on. You can just stamp out anywhere you want, like on pants, on tote bags. As you can see, here the print is kind of goes and didn't really come out that well. I thought I was being slick in a way that maybe if I want to try out screen printing, then I could just use the screen printing ink. I thought I was gonna kill two birds with one stone, but I was wrong. The screen printing ink isn't really suitable for block printing. But I found a way, I kind of found a way to make it work. I kind of wet the fabric first, and even though the ink doesn't transfer well, it's more vibrant and more flat. And as you can tell here, I'm just trying out more and more prints. So yeah. And I kind of learned that if you don't clean your the lino and the ink dries on it, if you try to make more inks, the inks isn't really gonna transfer well or flat. And I learned that in a hard way, because when I actually started printing it on the printmaking paper, the prints weren't really coming out as vibrant or as flat as I want them to be, because I didn't clean the lino, so there was like a lot of residue that was dried out, and yeah, it was a waste of expensive paper. But you learn as you learn, and you just continue going on and creating more art. And even though this print is kind of more vibrant and more flat, but I actually had to reapply the ink at least 4 times. I didn't really show this in the video because it was kind of repetitive, but yeah, I did kind of achieve a better print with that, and it was kind of annoying having to reapply the ink more and more and press more and more and just doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I don't really know what to say anymore. I am just doing more prints, so if you're interested in watching me print more, then you can keep watching. I also will be printing on another shirt, and you will see how the difference is with the first try and the second try when I printed it on a wet cloth instead. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a likes, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Till next time, bye.